Good day, good evening, good afternoon, and we're back. I mean, just in case you don't know who we are, I mean, you've probably missed us. We probably went to that funeral in Wimbledon 2018, and probably we buried ourselves because we have been away for practically a whole month, basically, ladies. But for those who don't know us and for those who missed us, this is the Real Tennis Podcast. This is the 126th podcast episode when Realz remember to actually do a count. It's somewhere around there, but there are far more episodes than 126. But just say it's 126. This is the 126th podcast, and the name of this podcast tentatively is Summer 2018 is hot, but tennis is not. I mean, I don't know. You can let us know whether Realz is off the rockers, like he's came back and he has dementia.
We know you're off the rocker. We don't need to answer that.
Thank you, Janina. I was going to go for some wine right about now, but I don't know. Is it day still? Would it be day drinking now? Or it's after
Stop 6? It's happy hour. Go for it.
I mean, actually, a friend of mine gave me being classes and agreed. It's like, should I be drinking box wine? Like, I'm a little bit
stop.
Oh no. I'm a bougie bitch sometimes. Sometimes I'm a bougie bitch and I can't help it.
Sometimes. I think isn't bougie. If I looked it up in the dictionary, I think there'd be a picture of you beside it, right?
You know what? And before I go any further, let me introduce my co-hostesses with the mostesses. And because of that comment, Andreen, Janina from Foreign, Ohio, the Cato Kalonos podcast. How you doing, girl?
Hey, boo. I'm all right. Hot as fuck here in Ohio. Get ready.
You're burning up in Ohio?
Oh, my God.
You know what? I mean, they say Ohio is the bellwether state. Is that true? Is it there? Is it there? I don't know. I mean, let's talk about Midwest. I'm like, America, like, whoa, whatever happened is foreign.
Oh, but Jesus.
I have noticed, like, whatever your weather condition is, like, the day after, that's going to be mine.
Yeah, because the weather tends to move.
Well, I know that, but I'm just saying, I mean, like, we don't get California weather. Like, whatever's going on in Andreen's life 3 days later, I don't get it here. I'm just saying, like,
we're closer than you realize. I'm not really so far away in a far off foreign land.
Like, if you tell me it's raining, it's raining. I'm like, oh fuck, I have to remember to keep my umbrellas in my bag Wednesday or Thursday.
I live in your future weather. You should appreciate that.
I know, and you can't even deal with future time. Good thing I'm the one in later. But let us not. Andreen is off a timeout now. Andreen from Solely Tennis Travel.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And when it's the summer, it usually means more often than not that Andreen, Janina, and myself, we're in the same time zone. Because in the summertime, I don't know, Andreen decides she don't want to deal with California heat. She want to deal with West Coast humidity. I don't know.
Crazy ass. I don't know what she was thinking.
I know, right? But you know what? She's probably getting it from the flyer. Because, like, California be like, California be like Captain Planet. They be doing fire, they be doing earth, they be doing water. Then they're gonna do.
You know how California is always ahead of the curve? We're just letting you know what's coming.
Oh, don't say that.
That's it. I mean, we're experiencing the kind of changes that climate folks have been telling us will be coming. So for people who don't believe it, just look to California and say that's probably the future. And what's happening in Europe, this weird ass weather that they've been having.
It's true. I mean, like when it's in the Pacific Rim now and it's a ring of fire, I mean, like, they'll literally mean fire because, I mean, there's forest fire all over Europe. It's in Asia as well.
Can we not be a weather forecast? This is depressing.
It's extreme weather. I mean, we are the podcast because we're extreme. I mean, like, so.
Yeah.
And we always bring the gloom and doom to tennis. Whatever we see, the reality, we check tennis, and then next thing, some crazy shit happens. But anyway, whenever we go away, some crazy shit happen in tennis, right? So I don't know if I don't know. But before we go any further, let me just say this is Realz, the homosexual of the podcast, and ladies, get into the business now because apparently we ain't got much tennis to talk about because we didn't watch real long tennis. We got a lot of news to talk about. But I'm just saying, ladies, there were a lot of tournaments happening after Wimbledon. I don't know why. I don't know how, but people were playing, and they weren't my faves, but everybody else was playing. I mean, the men had 2, 4, 6, 8, 7 tournaments. No, 9. But what's wrong with me? Can I not count? Yes, 9 tournaments. I said 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 7. God damn. I'm not even drinking. Simple math will get you every time. They had 9 tournaments. Well, you know what? I know I had 7 because there was Newport on here and Atlanta, and I don't really. But that would have been. That would have been sick.
We know how you feel about those Southern American tournaments,
girl. You know I feel about them. So on the men's side, and I learned where these places are, because usually I call a tournament name and I'm just like, I don't know what this is. But this time around, I was on top of it. Nearly all of them was clay. Don't know why, but still.
Were they really? Clay never fucking goes away. That's why I didn't know it was going on.
Listen, you know what? I bet you there's a clay court tournament happening all year. Like there's something throughout the cycle, regardless of what's going on.
Yeah, I think on the challenger level, but we really check for them about me, right? And I ain't checking for the tennis and the challenger stuff. Right? It's true. There were 9 tournaments, and I believe probably 5 of them were Umag, Bastad, Hamburg, Gstaad.
Yep.
4 of them. 4 of the 9 were on clay, and Newport was on grass, and that was the only one. There were 2 500 level tournaments, ladies. 2. I mean, I was like, what? Really? But I mean, don't ask me to be that detailed on the women's side. I don't even know whether the internationals are, because WTA still insists that they're doing the fucking numbers, right? Because God knows.
You don't need it. You don't need it.
But I don't know who knows what the fuck is going on. But anyway, of course, one of those American national tournaments. Stevie Johnson won that. In Umag, which is in Croatia, I would have thought that would have been someplace else. I don't know where else the place would have been, but they say it's in Croatia, and I'm not going to doubt anyone. It was Cecchinato.
Yep.
I forgot. Yeah, he won that. In Bastad, this was before Fonini decided to get his hair in. I don't know. He has a daughter. Is it a daughter he had? One of his little cousins get in his hair. He probably fucked with Flavia, and Flavia was like, I bet you lost this bet. I'm gonna fuck up your hair. So he played Bastad in Sweden. He beat Gasquet. Sorry, Meyer. Fonini won that one. In Hamburg, which should have been Dominic's team, because I think Dominic played almost all of these tournaments. Oh, I forgot. Did I mention that? He played all 9. I'm sure of that. I am absolutely sure.
He did not play all 9. You are horrible.
Even though something was happening simultaneously, he was there in spirit, even though he wasn't there in body. I'll show you that.
I know.
Basilashvili won that, and that was 500 points. I mean, seriously.
I love it.
He picked up over 500 points. I mean, and Murray wasn't even there to snatch that. Oh, Murray is really ill then, because Murray, that would have been something Murray would have tried to snatch. In Atlanta, John Isner won. He beat another Magma man. He beat Ryan Harrison. I mean, I was trying to figure out if both couldn't lose, but apparently the rules say somebody got to win. There is no draw in tennis. It would have been perfect for something like this, right?
I know.
In Gstaad, which is in Switzerland, Matteo Berrettini, he won. And in Washington, somebody won who we really know for sure. Sasha Zverev.
Not only did he win, he defended a title.
Yeah, but you know what? He's done that. He did that this year already in Munich, right?
Watch out, world! Watch out!
He's staying at. He's
slowly but surely. But surely.
He's doing the Murray method. He just has to ramp it up.
Exactly, taking his time, slow and steady wins the race.
Do we not remember that was actually the Murray method? I know everyone now forgets that, but there was a point in time when people used to make fun of Murray for not actually winning slams.
Well, here's the thing.
He only has 3, so we should probably still make fun of him.
Oh gosh!
Yeah, because after he gets Stanley 3, the next person on the list got 12 or 13 or somewhere around there. So it's like
so sad.
But I mean, I have to say, we have to look at Sasha and simply say, I mean, like, I know he's skinny and he's young, but I mean, like, he's taking his time, and that maybe is what, because the
He's
body
doing
always
it right.
wins.
He's
The
doing
body,
it right, I think.
Oh,
the
look at
body
you all.
always wins.
Look at you all coming around
I
to
like
the idea.
Sasha.
Well, I mean,
No, not to that, but the idea of I think it's nice that we have this notion of like slow and steady buildup. Now, this is in contrast to the WTA, which I think is fine. I don't think one is better than the other, where people are saying, "Oh my God, we have this breakout star on the WTA side," and then that person kind of disappears for a little bit. I think either group has a right to do it, whichever way makes sense for them. You know what I mean? And I think on the men's side, given the way the male body changes, not the female
and
body
how physical
doesn't.
it is now.
Exactly. I think it makes sense for you to actually approach it from a slow and steady way on the men's tour, whereas maybe on the women's side it's a lot less likely for that to be the case.
Well, girl, on the men's side, I don't, either which way they approach it, they still ain't winning, because whether you're trying to be fast out the gate at 17, it just won't make it.
Well, no,
So-
that's what I'm saying. It's actually not happening, right? That's what
it's not happening. So it's not even a mindset, really, just accept reality and then work your way up, because otherwise you'll be done and dusted before you even know it. So hopefully this is the strategy he's employing, and it's not just the luck of the draw, like, well, it just kind of works out this way. Hopefully there's some thought behind this madness.
Listen, he's number 3 in the world. Give him some credit.
Well, Tommy Haas was number 2 in the world, girl. So
What does that mean?
I'm just simply saying, like, it doesn't mean anything, the ranking, right? You could get somewhere, but
It means something when it's your fave that's up there.
I know. What does that even mean?
Jeez,
no, I mean, like,
rankings.
no. When I say the ranking, I mean, like, you can be number 2 and number 3, but not winning a major, not winning the big titles. It's not going to count for anything in the long run.
Well, I think
Tommy's not going to get into the Hall of Fame because he was number 2 in the world. It's not.
Except the thing about this that everybody, first of all, it's a different landscape.
Right, I admit that.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. It does. That idea doesn't make sense anymore, because what you're talking about is Sasha is number 3, and anyone who comes up after him, right? But you have to map out that the game's 30 plus folks are going to retire. That's not what happened with Tommy Haas, right? What happened with Tommy Haas is they continued to dominate, and he never got a chance to emerge into anything. So so the logistics of this is just naturally going to change in Sasha and anyone coming up their favor. Now somebody else could swoop around him for sure, but in 2 years, 2 to 3 years, you're not going to have Fidel there. I don't care what people are wanting to believe in their minds. You'll probably have Djokovic,
right?
But that's
probably have Nadal.
I don't think so. You're not going to have Nadal for 2 to 3 years. I don't care what anybody's. I mean, you could make your body do a lot, but nobody. Come on now.
Look, I have a question. I don't know if we didn't. This was not something. It's just a thought that occurred to me. Is it going to be that, from what we just mentioned, is it going to be that we're gonna have like a generation or 2 or 1.5 that are not eligible for the Hall of Fame because they just couldn't win a slam?
Yes.
What does that mean?
It means Federer and Nadal and Murray and Djokovic soaked everything up, and they're just going to leave this big hole, so that the people who fall in between the age group of 35 and 25 get nothing.
Yeah, they're not going to be in there.
It's going to be like when it's all said and done in 30 years, it's going to be like they didn't even exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like in other sport, like they measure differently. They measure other things. There are other aspects to it, right? Not just like winning an Olympic gold medal or something like that.
Yeah.
So they like have other Hall of Fame, but I mean, like for tennis, you don't win at least 2 majors, girl. You're out. They don't even look at you. You don't even get an invite. You're a friend of a friend.
You be a plus one. Congratulations.
And if you're lucky, you get to give the speech for somebody else. But you don't get it. You don't get your picture up there. You don't get that green jacket or whatever they give you.
I know.
They're gonna have to give out awards like Newport Hall of Fame, Stevie Johnson, Atlanta Hall of Fame, Isna. You know what? They're gonna lower it because I'm sure they're gonna try to get Andy Roddick up in there. So And we have Los Cabos. Fonini beat Delpo. I mean, it's like two haters in one pot. I mean, like,
Oh,
like
you're bad.
it was just like a convention right there. I mean, like, I can't believe Delpo let that free tournament go away. I'm just like, Delpo, girl.
What happened though? You know what? I wish I'd seen that tournament, because that feels like a winnable final for Delpo. Although, let's all remember that what he didn't want to do Lazarus raising from the dead. How did that what happened? Or maybe he was confused because Fognini does that.
If Federer wasn't in front of him, so he didn't care. And he lost in straight sets too.
That was weird.
4-2. I was like, really?
But you know what I realized? I was talking to a colleague this week, a friend this weekend, a tennis buddy, and I said, well, of course, you know who's coaching Fognini, right? It's Delpo's old coach.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
Yeah, Franco Divine, right? So he would know Delpo best of all. So so I think that was something where Fog had just enough information to take him over the hump.
I mean, look at the tennis god at work here.
Well, because wasn't Delpo up 3-love?
Probably in the first set.
Yeah, he was, and then Fog won the remaining games. I think maybe he went to 6-4.
I think we always want to put Fognini in this category of a scrub, but he's not.
I mean, he's a scrub effort-wise. Like when he's on, right? He's like who's comparable to him in your language? Maybe like, I mean, I guess the closest you could come to on the WTA side, because the WTA side is just more well known, y'all.
He was up 3-love actually.
It's like a Svetlana.
He was up 3-love, lost 5 straight games, and kept it cute to be a 4-6. Then he won the opening game. In the second set, lost 5 straight games again. Then kept it sexy, didn't want a breadsticks, and Fognini was just like, I don't know. I mean, like, you would never allow Federer to behave this way in your ass ever, even if your wrist was in a cast.
Yep.
So I'll be watching y'all with your suspect efforts, you know.
Oh my god.
And then Kitzbuhel, which is not in Turkey, as I randomly guess, it's actually in Austria.
Yep.
Martin Klizan won that title. So that's an easy 250 points for him. So the men made out like a bandit. And, you know, Washington, I didn't mention Washington. On the ladies' side, I don't even know some of these people. But, you know,
it's that people won tournaments that I don't even know who the fuck they are.
You know, Bucharest, that's in Romania for sure. Sevastova won that. Gstaad, which is in Switzerland. Alize Kone won that. I don't even know if she was interested in winning tournaments. In Nanchang, Wang won that. I think that was an international, so that doesn't really count as a real, you know, like a equivalent to a 250 WTA CBA and this shit again. Moscow, Danilovic won. I think that's another international, because there is a later Moscow event, right? Later on in the year, close to the WTA year and championship. In San Jose, the tournament that Venus and Serena decided we don't really give two shits about what's happening.
Oh my god, right?
Serena did not know her way to San Jose. She did know the way out to get out of San Jose, though. We have Andreen keep telling me that Basilnescu is a thing, but
she was, because she won a match, right?
She's winning a lot of matches. Apparently, homegirl hasn't been playing much. She was practicing and doing all of the shit, and then last year she decided, you know what, I want to play tennis. I'm back to playing tennis. She is the Romanian version of, what's the Swiss version? What's her name? She always gets Venus the way you get the French Open. Baczynski. Yeah, but every time I see Basilnescu, I just think bazooka gum. And I just think, you know, that's how I'm going to call her. In my mind.
Hey, Brad.
I'm sorry, girl. I'm sorry. Like, sometimes you can't help the word association of Realz. Just got to deal, girl. Rolling with the punches. And in Washington, Sveta spoiled the Vekic Wawrinka household by, you know, snatching a title in that Costco kit. I don't care what you say, Janina, that shit look a hot mess. That look like budget wear. You know, like some budget clothing. Some value dollars Sveta won a tournament, which is like the first time in like forever, which means she's gonna lose early in Montreal, and crash out in the second round at the U.S. Open.
Shut your mouth.
You know, Sveta don't do two things at once. She don't do back to back well. So yeah, she don't do that thing. So I think that's on it for the ladies. And now we're in Montreal. The women are in Montreal, they say, and the men's are in Toronto. Yep. Roger decided, fuck Toronto. I don't blame you, Roger. Because I mean, if you're not there, what's happening there? But Nadal and Djokovic will be there. So I mean, I guess we can, revive that rivalry. People will be excited for that brand of tennis. I don't know. I will be. Sasha is trying to defend this title, right? Because he won this last year. It was in Montreal last year. Yes, he beat Federer.
Yep.
So how nice.
Sasha, let's see if you can defend another title. Is Washington a part of the US Open series?
Not anymore.
Not anymore for some.
Right. Well, apparently somebody needs to tell the players on the ATP, because one of the homeboys saying like, "Thank you, Washington, part of the U.S. Open Series." Well, it is in the U.S. It is in U.S. Washington D.C. is in U.S. It's not part of this series anymore, but it's 500 points. One of the Russian guys, I think he was in the semifinals. Is it Medvedev?
Rublev.
Is it Rublev? Yes, Rublev. He was in. Yeah, and they had like a hot, messy weather. So yes, it was Rublev. He made it to the semifinal, the quarterfinal of the Europe Open Series, and I was
Were
like,
you there, Andreen, for that?
Which one? The
that
semifinal
messy,
match?
semifinal.
Yeah, I mean, I came in on Saturday to catch the full day and night, which was great because it was the only time that didn't rain out.
Yeah.
And everybody was really excited for Alex to win. Can I just, as an aside, by the way, the audience in DC decided that Alex was their champ. Yeah, they wanted Alex to win.
As in Sasha or Rublev?
No. As in, we're talking about the semifinal match between Alex de Minaur and Rublev.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. So Rublev is fine. He's obviously the more talented player at this point, has maybe the bigger skill set, right? So he's doing fine.
And then he chokes.
Yeah, but the thing is, the audience, I have to say, I think audience participation really swung the momentum in that match, because I had a feeling that Alex wasn't quite convinced that he was able to beat this guy, but he was like, well, it looks like you're getting tight. And the audience is like, we've decided we've chosen our champ. And so we're just
these Russian boys for you. I mean, I watched them at the, what's that? Next Gen, whatever. And they are volatile. They're not the Davydenko Kafelnikov school. They're from the Safin school.
Stop.
They are like volatile. I mean, like, I mean, they're not even like a Uzni, which is like, I'm gonna beat myself up. They are rigid. They are like,
someone beat ourselves up. Who was it? Who was that?
Uzni.
No. In DC.
DC, it was who was banging his head? Was it Rupert?
No, it was Tippy.
Tsitsipas, yeah.
I mean, like, these kids are like going full Super Saiyan. They're just like, calm the fuck down. You get a next match tomorrow. There's always a place. Calm down.
That's great.
And they can't marshal their energy, and this is what the older players see. This is why Fonini and them is still around. They're like, look at that mess over there. They don't even know how to fake rage. They don't even know how to fake this funk. Because that guy, like you said, Rublev is the more talented player, and Minnow is like challenger kind of person. Because Rublev should be.
You can't believe that. I mean, he's made a huge leap, right? He's made a huge leap in the rankings. I think he was in 200s, and now he's all the way down into the 40s. So
you best believe this next gen shit is gonna happen. Well, can they find people who?
But can I just tell you what was funny about it? So, I head to the bathroom at some point during the match because I'm watching the match with a friend, and we're kind of bored because it's exactly the same point over and over.
Of course.
Baseline rally. Nobody ventured to the net. Nobody changed it up. Maybe occasionally someone would remember that they can hit the ball from the back of the court, maybe with a slice, something. Tried to do nothing. It was just all the same shot. And it was fine maybe for the first set, but there was no way I wanted this to go on for 3. So Alex does his, crowd pleasing stuff and steals the second set. So I'm going to the bathroom and I'm talking to this woman and she's like, I really want Alex to win the final. And I was like, to get into the final. I was like, oh, you do? Why? She's like, just to avoid the confusion of which one to cheer for, because like, can I cheer for 2 Sashas? I was like, okay.
Oh God.
And I was like, lady, why don't you just admit you don't want to cheer for the Russian? Because guess what? If Alex wins, it's 2 Alex in the finals.
He's Russian.
No, but she was trying to come up with an excuse for why she couldn't cheer for the Russian, right? She was like, then she landed on his name as a rationale. And and then afterwards, I was like, did she realize that both of their names are Alex if Alex wins and gets into the final too? Like, it was so odd.
And Sasha Zverev, he's Russian.
No.
Oh,
she wanted Alex Dinimar, the guy from Australia, to win.
Okay.
But pay attention to the semis, Realz.
Oh, no. I thought you meant that when she gets...
No. She was like, Alex was already in the finals. And she just didn't want any confusion because in her mind, it'd be 2 Sashas in the final. I was like, what is she talking about? And then it was weird. And I just looked at her and said, oh, you mean to tell me you don't want to cheer for the Russian? Because guess what? It's 2 Alexes in the final if Alex gets through. And she's like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, let me walk away from you, crazy woman. But it was just really odd. But I think really what was happening was people were projecting a lot of like American feeling into Alex. He's like rambunctious, he's short, bubbly. He was very emotional. And so I think he was emotionally accessible for the crowd. And on the other hand, you had Rublev, who wasn't giving much at all, which was surprising because usually he does. He gives a lot. But he seemed to kind of like get even more and more remote as the match went on. Probably because he was like, why the fuck am I in a 3rd set when I should have won this in 2?
Right. That could have a lot to do with it. You got to be able to forget that shit.
Or, when you feel like you deserve to win a match.
And then you don't.
And you don't.
Because this was 500 points.
It's a lot. It was a good chunk.
And there are very few places you can find 500 points without not having to deal with a Federer, a Novak. You know what I mean?
Murray got sad and went home.
I mean, like, I like, even if you did face Murray, which was hobbling still, you got to overcome all that crowd anxiety, and you know what I mean?
I know.
This was an easy 500 points, boo. You don't even get 500 points anywhere else unless it's like a major. And can you survive getting to like the 4th week, the 2nd week? I mean, like, come on, dude. They gotta do better.
Oh well.
Washington was a gift this year for young people. And
so Sasha Zverev was at the end of the at the semifinals, at the beginning of the semifinals, Sasha Zverev at the ripe old age of 21 was the oldest man left.
I know.
And boy, did Tennis Channel have fun.
Love that.
Oh my God. I want to be like, shut the fuck up. How many times are you going to say it? Like, really. But let me tell you what I love about Sasha. Let me just tell you.
Yep.
So he finishes his match. He goes to the Tennis Channel desk, and he's talking to, I don't even know who he's talking to. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But they're like, so, like, what are your plans for the night? Because the other 2 fellas were yet to play. And he says, I'm going to go home and, hopefully watch a very long 3-set match. and the guy was like, oh, is that what you're hoping for? That they just like, play each other silly and tired so that whoever you meet in the final is going to be tired. And he said yes. And I was like, sweet. Because that's what everybody's thinking when they play first and they finish and there's a match after them. They want all the advantages that they can get. And he actually said it. Federer would never say that. Nadal would never say that. And, Sasha tried. It's like he said it and he tried to clean it up. And he's like,
They've joked about it, like, "Oh, I hope that match goes for 5 hours or something."
Yeah, they did. And then he was like, "Well, Alex is my friend, and I would like to see him in the final." He said, but afterwards, I think when he realized how that sounded when it actually came out of his mouth, which really, it's not, I'm telling you, it sounded great, because this is what I like. I like it when they actually say the shit you're not supposed to say.
Well, actually, technically, they do say that shit, but you see what? Here's how Federer.
They don't say it like that.
No, here's how they say it. They say, "I hope to go home and enjoy and eat some popcorn and watch that match." That's what Novak says. But here, when that happens, right? And so, but in order for them to be home and eating popcorn, they gotta cool down. They gotta do the ice bath. They gotta do that massage.
Well, I appreciate that Sasha was.
They gotta do, when all that is done. That's like 4 hours or something.
You're
like that.
right, but I totally appreciate that he just said, "Yeah, I hope they play a long 3-setter." He just out said it. And like during that one rain delay, the chair umpire was trying to get them when he was playing his brother, when it was Sasha and Misha playing.
Let's talk about that.
Listen. But here's it. So there's two sides to this, right? So you keep having these rain delays. They keep bringing the ball kids out to dry the court. The chair umpire keeps going down, testing the lines. And finally, the umpire's like, "Okay, let's go."
Yeah.
And Sasha looks up, and you can see when they show the lights from the top of the stadium that it's still raining. And Sasha, he told the dude, he was like, "No, I'm not going out there to play 2 points to sit down again. I'm not doing it. It's still raining." And he just flat out refused to play. And I'm thinking, why don't more players do that? Because it is a safety issue. Everybody knows it. It's not that, they can't play in the rain. We know they can play in the rain. They play in the rain on clay all the time. Why? Because it's not as much of a safety issue. You cannot play on a wet hard court. However, what I want, I like that he said no, and I'm thinking more people need to do this.
Yep.
But if that had been somebody else saying no, just imagine for a moment Nick Kyrgios be sitting there and him say, "No, I'm not going to play. It's still raining." Then he would have been
different things for so many people.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the other thing too, this is Washington now. It's Washington. If this was in Toronto, it might have gone play differently.
What do you mean?
Why?
Because I remember, because sometimes,
Sasha has done this previously. He walked out of Roland Garros. He's like, "No, I'm done." The light somewhere he did it. He's done it.
Because I think a lot of times where players have tried to say something or whatever, players don't always get as adamant as you point out, and as Sasha does. Sasha did, but they tried to say something, and then they're always made to feel like they have to be there because they can't walk off the court generally.
And I think it happened at Roland Garros. It happened, I think, with one of the late running matches. Somebody just said, "No, I'm leaving." And if the other person is not playing, then it's not happening. Even if the other player is willing to go.
But I think, well, you know what, that whole, we know from Wimbledon semifinals.
Yep.
You just need one person, and just one person just sit on their hands and be like, "Nope, this is not happening." So that's what we need.
But my point is, everybody can't get away with that.
No, I think you're right.
They may be able to do it, and they may be able to refuse to play, but they're not going to be. Everyone isn't going to be commended for that.
Yep.
But they need to. Again, I feel like tennis just feel like walking off of this shit. Like, people don't want to create rules for these things, and it's simple. This is workplace safety. There are rules for this.
Well, let's have a conversation about it. Let's take what happened in Washington D.C. seriously. What do you think is on the table for them that they're not considering?
TV.
They're not. I mean, like, they're thinking of that. I'm talking about, like, what were some strategies that maybe were possible that just never seemed to occur to them?
They don't want to put high-profile matches on simultaneously at the end of a tournament. I think that's what it ultimately comes down to, because they could have stopped that mess and said, "We'll do this tomorrow." Just like when Andy Murray had to play until 3-something in the morning. Yeah. He never should have taken court. But because of the TV commitments and because of ticket sales and all that, the sport comes second and everything else comes first. And that's what they don't even take into consideration. And they should. You know, yeah, does it suck for some people? Maybe. But at the end of the day, you have a tournament to run, and it should be in the best interest of everyone to do it appropriately. You shouldn't be starting a match that late at night, and you shouldn't be playing in the weather like that, potentially, you know, getting people hurt and injured. Let them play the next day and have two simultaneous semifinals. It's not that big of a deal.
But here's the thing I'm rather confused about, because I'm confused about if that is the strategy that they're working with, right? That they want to, you know, TV people and whatever the case may be. I don't know who's really watching, because European markets generally doesn't do well with tennis when it's in North America because of the timeline, particularly in the summer.
Yeah,
it doesn't do well in North America, in Europe at all, because the times are just crazy. So that's insane. I remember when I was in France.
But they shouldn't even care. Like, they shouldn't even care if it can't be on TV. It should just be about finishing the tournament.
And I don't know who is really watching tennis that much. I mean, there are a lot of people who love tennis, but who's staying up until 2 o'clock and waiting out a rain delay to be on watching tennis. It's not that serious. So you are right. I think they should, but players don't, you know, like, to me, it's ridiculous having.
Well, I wonder.
I don't even know, are people sticking around to watch a tournament for that long? Most of the people left already, but I guess they don't have any commitment.
I don't know though. Andreen and I did it one night in Cincinnati. It wasn't that late, but it was late. Remember, Andreen, after that rain delay, Grigor and Cilic took court. It was close to midnight.
But how many persons were were the stand still packed?
No, they weren't packed, but there was quite a few people there.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think they avoid having to refund people their ticket, like what happens at the U.S. Open at times.
No, because the rules are very clear. In order to get a refund of your ticket, you have to not get one full match. It doesn't matter. Yeah. It does. If one full match anywhere on the grounds got played, there goes your refund. They can cancel everything else, and you don't get a refund.
Oh, because at the U.S. Open, it's quite different. I think if most of the day is washed out, you get back your ticket, right?
Yep.
You get a ticket for next year. So I think that might be part of the strategy. I don't know.
Well, but, they don't want people coming back for free.
But you see, sometimes we're giving these people credit sometimes. Sometimes it's just that, you know, these old men, typically old white men, are just greedy for money, right? They just want to create some kind of buzz and atmosphere. And some TV executive said, keep the match on. Let's keep it, you know, some bullshit like that.
It'll be interesting to see.
What I find surprising is that players are not involved in this process more.
But here's the thing. Andy Murray said, I'm not doing it, and pulled out of the tournament. He won his match and said, I cannot come back and play the next day. You have a person of his caliber doing that. Is it going to matter?
Yeah, well, Andy Murray should not show up for the 3 o'clock match. That's where his power should have been.
Well, you know, that's what I'm saying. I feel like what you need is a hard and fast end. Because I say to myself, if you are starting a match at 11 p.m., nobody's going to be winning after that. You know what I mean? It's a lose-lose for everyone involved. So you have to have a hard stop. I don't see why a tournament cannot give itself a hard stop, so that then everyone feels pretty comfortable. Like, the players know that if rain, and as well as the fans, right? This tournament, because you know what, it helps Wimbledon. I think somebody actually told me that on somebody might have tagged me in something and said, you know, what's great about the fact that Wimbledon has a curfew is that that. I think tennis can give itself curfews. I think why they shouldn't. Like, if you say to yourself, and you guys negotiate that, make that a negotiated or a bargaining piece for each tournament. So, like, if there are rain delays, stoppage for whatever reason, you cannot start a match after 11 p.m.
Yeah, because it's really frustrating to be on the ground, waiting around, there ain't nothing much to do there. But I think part of the issue at Wimbledon is that there is a
they have an outside factor to enforce that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, what I'm saying is they themselves can determine that. And also, you know what? You also have that issue in DC. They don't have public transportation for 24 hours.
Oh, they don't?
No, it's not 24 hours.
What time does it stop?
I think it was something like midnight to 1 a.m. So it's not like you so there weren't accessible buses. I think the buses run, but that's sporadic. But the metro wasn't running. So it's like there are transportation issues. But again, I feel like, why do you always need an external body to make these decisions?
Right, true. Because it's just crazy. It's athletes, right? We're not watching.
Because what ended up happening is this narrative. I always think that tennis is funny. Tennis knows when it fucks up, because immediately upon fucking up, they create a narrative to celebrate the fuck up. Right? It's like,
despite the real consequence that happens right after, right? Yeah, nobody talks about the fact that Murray couldn't perform his next match. They were like, the heroics of fight a warrior bullshit.
And this is why I'm his fan, because he went out there and you know what? Realz used, you know what? Let's tell you guys this. Realz has a pet peeve, and it's so telling in this moment. Realz always talks about the fact that society creates these problems and then to give you brownie points for overcoming the problems that shouldn't have existed. Yeah. So it's like, you give Murray this warrior prize when it wasn't necessary for him to have become a warrior. He was returning, and they actually sabotaged
this fake resume, because that goes right next to the fake
No, but it has nothing to do. But in this particular instance, they sabotaged Toronto. Right? By their poor choices, it hampered his ability to go on to Toronto. And then it also sabotaged his own sort of comeback and anyone who might have wanted to see Murray, because he had a pretty good setup in terms of who he might play next, right? So it's like, it's like in the end, you only got one bump, which was this match that went on for hours, and it was amazing and heroic. But the long-term impact. But I think that's the thing with tennis. Always short-term, never long-term, right?
And he himself, and again, this is the thing I'm upset with him. He himself should have never gone, because a match like that isn't telling you anything. Yeah. It's not telling you anything, and it only does you damage. No one is doubting your mental capacity, Murray. We know that. You would try to get on that court in a fucking wheelchair if they let you. You would. No one's questioning your mental ability. Your problem right now is physical. Your ass is old. Your body is older than you. You should be in bed at fucking 12 o'clock. You shouldn't be out there trying to start a match. You should. I mean, I woke up at my regular time to go to the gym. I woke up before the crack of dawn. Mm-hmm. I see one live match. I'm like, well, this has to be in China. No, it's in Washington, D.C. I was like, am I checking the time right? Is this time right? Let me go back and check. The fuck is my at 2 o'clock in the morning? Like, why the fuck is this? Like, what is wrong with this dude? Like, why is this? Like, I'm just like, I can't.
But that's a storyline that was sold to Murray a really long time ago, and I think they really bought into it. People have to be careful about buying into these sort of warrior memes, because what ends up happening is like nobody cares about your body except you. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you are simply a body for them to pick up, spit out, and churn out. We all see, if we think about it as Federer fans, even Rafa fans, we've seen how much these people give to the sport. And as soon as they decide that they're going to pull back and not give as much or do something that's protecting themselves, you got tournament directors trashing them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So when you know what I mean? Or people like asking questions about why you're choosing to go to a wedding to have a good time instead of do this, so it's like you have to recognize that as a player.
Oh, and here's the thing, right? Here's the best bit. This is why I thought was really fucking the cake. The tournament director,
I know, came for him.
Afterwards, he's like, he gotta think about the role model he presented for the player, the younger player who's watching horrible. It.
That was such a horrible take. That was such a poor take.
Like, seriously, who the fuck is y'all? Who let you tweet this shit? Who let you say that? The White House? This is some White House fuckery right there. Like, this motherfucker coming back from hip fucking surgery.
I know.
Hip surgery. With a bad back. With a bad back. He couldn't even play Wimbledon. And you know that motherfucker would roll up in Wimbledon in a wheelchair. The only reason why he didn't roll up in a wheelchair is because they said if you're in a wheelchair, you got to play the wheelchair event. You can't play regular men's singles. He would have been in a wheelchair. You know that. I know that. He didn't even play his favorite hometown tournament.
It was just rude, though. How dare her?
I mean, trust me, Murray And Washington was the only thing tweeting. It was the only thing trending. Only thing. It was the only thing. Come on. Let's be 100.
Isn't like having someone abuse you and then blaming you for it later?
I mean, I was just like, I had to reread that shit. I was like, is this motherfucker serious? Did he just say that?
And you know what's really interesting in contrast, right? Because I guess the women, of course, always are long suffering because that's what you're taught to do as women. So I don't think the women made as much sort of like verbal talking. I don't think they had as many outbursts of concerns. Maybe they spoke about it quietly, but then so at the actual final, the tournament director spent extra time thanking the ladies sort of for like quote unquote manning up, you know? And so,
because y'all typically give them shitty schedules,
exactly.
So the shitty schedule worked in their favor because they were in and out.
I know.
That's what happened. You typically give them a shitty schedule, so the shitty schedule worked out for them because of shitty weather. Shitty weather and shitty schedule work hand in hand, and things get done easily.
Well, you know what? And the person who complains, who people bitch about, but you know what? That's because she understands what happens, is Caroline Wozniacki. And what did she do? She backed out. She's like, I got an injury. And so she saw that rain coming, and I think she looked and she's like, my leg ain't right. I got to go.
She's like, I could be home with my man. I could be out there sitting down in some locker room for hours on end, talking with Sveta. We can Snapchat that shit. Nope.
I really do think that, you know who the vocal people are on the WTA side, and there weren't that many left there. So when abuses happen, and I think that's probably a lot to say, but I do think that people need to come up with strategies to deal with rain. It's an outdoor event. We understand it, but I think you can have a hard end, and fans know what to do. And players know what to do. Like as a fan, if it's raining and you know that there's a hard stop at 11 and it continues to rain, but it stops raining at 9, you can make your way over to the tennis knowing that they're going to start. Do you know what I mean? Yep. But the failure to give you any clarity is pointless. Nobody's saying build a roof. But, in the interim, come up with a hard end. And you know what? And then negotiate it in your media contracts. Let it be known.
Well, here's the other thing I think that's part of the issue too. They get to fudge their numbers too, right?
Probably.
If you show up there, it's the same thing, right? It's just one of those.
That's probably all of that too, right?
There is a whole bunch of business strategy to it because you get to say something, but when you look at you get to quote a quantity, but when you look at the quality, it's not really there. Because who's really showing up, right? We sold out. But did these people really watch tennis? Yeah. Did they get to stick around and watch this match? Oh my God, Murray match was so crazy. Who's sticking around till 3 o'clock in the fucking morning to watch Murray play some scrub?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good
point.
Not
happening.
So now we sit and we wait and we see if any changes are made. What's next?
Well, there should be.
Well, I can tell you, I've looked into the future and I know the answer. Tennis ain't going to do shit until someone dies.
What? It should be because you know what? Murray is on the Players Council, right? So he is. He is. Okay. If I think it's him and Djokovic, are at least of the top guys. So
that should be interesting because Roofgate. This is something for the roofers to really be going on about, but they ain't got time for that, right? They ain't got time for that. But this should be interesting. The men don't usually man up and let me 100 here unless it's Federer. Federer is the only one who's really talk and move mountains. So I'd be interested to hope that something will happen here. And not just about the plastic bags, which are really important, but I really hope that, because I'm really interested in players. What really pisses me off about a lot of this talk is it's being generated by the fans. And, we are knowledgeable fans. I like to say us here at Realz Tennis Fan, we know what the fuck we're talking about. Yep. But I would really love to see players talk about these issues and be vocal and upfront about these issues. Because a lot of time, a lot of the fans, they're just concerned about their stanism and their favoritism, and they're not looking at the long-term issue. You can't be out here cheering for Murray's comeback and be cheering for this motherfucker to be out here till 3 o'clock in the morning. It is madness. He won't survive. He won't be there for the end of the year.
Well, that's why he left. Yep.
So
we'll
people get it together. So I did have to say I did watch some tennis. It's a crazy day when Janina watches more tennis than I am.
Don't be trying to put me down.
I ain't trying to put you down, and I really have no excuse because I'm home. So I don't know, I guess looking for a job requires you to not be focused on tennis. But when I look at these winners, I'm just like, should I be really interested in Janina's not winning a tournament? Fuck no.
No.
But anyway, I did actually watch, I watched Bazooka yesterday play.
Are we really going to call him Bazooka?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just what it is. You know what I mean? And she looks a little bit more interesting than Halep. I'm just saying that. But anyway, Bazooka was playing Sakari, who beat Venus.
Yes.
And I don't like to call people ball bashers, but that match was messy, okay? I mean, I'm not even getting to the scoreline of being 6-1 and 6-love. I mean, but, it was one of those issues because I think Sakari played like 3-5 hours the day before in the semifinals. So she was complaining, like her leg ain't working, her leg ain't right, her leg ain't moving. And let me just, I'm not even gonna drag Pammy because we do that often enough. But let me just say, Pammy and Chris McKendry are worst commentators. They're really horrible.
Why?
Because they're just like the coach and whatever the case may be. The coach telling her this is really good advice and whatever the case may be. But no one was going on the point that the girl was literally exhausted. Sakari was exhausted. She played late into the night. I think San Jose probably had some weather issues. But also, it was just hot. It was just fucking hot over there. So she was just like, she was tired. But no one talked about the fact that Sakari is out here hitting ball like she's chopping trees. She is just wild, like errors all over the fucking place. That match was a hot mess. But you know what? Bazooka, you won a title. You won some points. I can't even tell how much points it was. But good for you. And Sveta v. Dana Vekic, I mean, it's always a good day when my good Judy, Janina, when her good fave wins. So I'm not even mad at that. So I'm excited about that. But moving on to the news. So we talked about Cincy in the tournament director, Murray. We talked about the rain delays, whatever the case may be. There is some talk about Davis Cup and changes. I mean, honest to God, I mean, like...
Yeah, give a recap of what those changes are supposed to maybe look like.
Is this a quiz? Because I feel the way you spoke, that tone, meant like you were questioning my knowledge. I felt attacked, okay?
All right, now go ahead and answer.
Let me sip my box wine, okay? Well, I think the issue seems to be like people are bitching about the money issue that they're pumping a lot of money into. Is this Larry Ellison, right?
Yep. Larry
Ellison, who I think run Indian Wells, have a lot of money, and but I think initially they were trying to have this sort of like I think they were trying to make it into like a Laver Cup-ish kind of event.
No, do not say that. That's already the fault. You have to talk about this purely. Do not use Laver Cup. It is not meant to be a Laver Cup event.
Okay.
Don't, because that's I think what's gotten this whole thing, this weird messed up is people are like, oh, you're trying to the changes people wanted for Davis Cup preceded Laver Cup.
Yeah,
people have been talking about these things for a
really long time. There have been ages talking about the changes for Davis Cup. And I think everyone, and this is the thing that I really hate. And before we get into specific, which I'm going to have Andreen get into specific, because, as a man, I don't deal with facts. But
you better have, because you are dealing with the facts right now.
No, but something I find that's very problematic, I think, in sports in general, having watched the Tour de France, I think at times people get bogged down and buy into this idea of tradition. And people forget that things change constantly, that nothing is ever what it was in its first iteration. And a lot of times, with the passage of time, people forget why things were instituted and things felt like they were like holy grail and scriptural. Well, probably from some kind of convenience at the time. So I think a lot of time we should sort of like, yes, we should hold on to tradition in a certain way, but we can't hold on to the tradition and be hand and fast on tradition, particularly when it's old people who are screaming about tradition and not the people on the ground, when it's piling up, when a graveyard is being piled up. When an event or something is causing injury, it's causing death, it's causing problems. Because I was invested in the Tour de France because And let me just say, if these people are
because
doping,
you like to watch people wreck.
No, I mean, like, it's really crazy. People racing for 120 something miles every single day, and people trying to tell me they're not doping. I was like, calm down, like, y'all are fucking crazy. But one of the things that happens every year, the Tour de France, is how they're literally touring through France and some parts of Europe, but they're literally on roads. The roads are closed to traffic, except vehicles that are involved in the Tour de France. But people are very close to these people. Like, people can literally touch them. They're on the sides of the road. They're on banks screaming and waving flags and whatever. And not just like a little desk flag. They're waving full-on flag that's supposed to go on flagpoles, right? And they're like a huge 100 and something people riding, going at least 50 to 60 something miles an hour.
Yeah.
And there are many times where spectators have caused crashes, have caused people to follow the event. Now, it's very difficult to man and police a 100 and something 120 miles and 20 miles long course, right? Like, you don't have enough people to police officers or cars or whatever to do all of that. But the riders are complaining, that these fans are too close and they're obstructing them from doing their jobs. And then there are old people just like, oh my God, like Tour de France, this is the spirit. People are involved, etc., etc. Yeah, that might be traditionally, but I literally saw a contender for the Tour de France got taken out because a fucking fan had his camera strapped not around his neck, but laying loose, and the guy was riding 50 miles an hour, and his bicycle hooked on the guy's camera strap. The spectator held on to his camera firmly, and this guy who's probably 120 pounds soaking wet, and his bicycle probably weighed 2 pounds, flipped over, broke it, damaged his collarbone. He's out, done, dusted. Because you know what? A fucking fan wanted to take a picture, be like, oh, I got a selfie. So sometimes, like tradition, Davis Cup has to change. The players are complaining and asking that it is change. So, but my problem with Davis Cup that I see so far is that players are not involved in the changes.
Yeah.
It's just like, it seems to be a marketing money strategy. People are trying to see, well, if we're going, because Davis Cup sort of exists in a way that wasn't heavily monetized, right? It was kept in this very hard and fast, like people would, it's almost like a sort of a world championship event sort of a thing, but it was happening in such and such a long drawn out way. It can't be like stylized like how the World Cup is in soccer stylized, or like world championships in any sport event, or like the Olympics. It's a process that happens over the course of a year. So they're now trying to make Davis Cup into sort of a frenzy, monetized, whatever the case may be. And they figured, well, if they're going to do this, here's how to get a lot of players on board by offering them money, sweetening the pot, and that was allowed to sort of change it into something else. I think from what I've gathered, if I'm not mistaken, it sort of will turn into they have a sort of event like this already. I forget what it's called, but it's almost like a I want to say they're gonna have like a world championships of tennis. It's not like a major, but it's kind of like it's not gonna be as simple as how a major is structured, but it's gonna be like a sort of a glitzy. But there's gonna be naked women or half naked women involved in this process.
There might be if it's in Rome.
Girl, it don't matter where it is. They're gonna put some woman in some bikini in there.
Oh, okay.
It could be in the middle of Siberia, Moscow, Siberia in Russia. They're gonna try to put some scantily clad women in it. So they're pumping money in it to sort of like get players on board. But I mean, I can't buy on board of any kind of event where when players are not the most vocal. Where I'm not hearing players being the one saying, yeah, this is good. When I'm seeing people in suits and particularly white men advocating for something, I'm like, hold up, nope. I have a problem, particularly when you're talking about people as things that I'm not seeing on the stage, and they're not saying anything. And I think Davis Cup is giving me this vibe already, because every time I hear we talking about this issue, we're talking about the money, we're talking about the structure and the format. We don't say, let's go to the Players' Council for their views on this matter. Let's have Roger Federer say something. You know what I mean? They're not even asking old stalwart Davis Cup to be involved in this process.
But they're thinking that if they condense this to 1 week, they're going to get more people to commit to playing. And half the problem that they think they're having with Davis Cup is the top players don't show up because the schedule is so erratic.
Right. I think, you know what? I think we talked about this a little bit, which is that I think it's always the same problem, which is tennis is so now in its mindset. The top players, according to this generation, which were sort of a peak generation in terms of having 4 or 5 in the same groupings and you wanting them to show up constantly for this thing, but they were getting to the finals of many things. This is really the first time where you had this sort of consistent layer at the top like this, I think. And so you can't necessarily make changes to Davis Cup, I think, casting your eye to this period.
Exactly, because they say they're not showing up because Federer isn't showing up.
But it's unique. It was unique. It was unique to have this set of guys always at the end of tournaments, therefore being really tired and not able to give their all, right? When you had periods where people were up and down, opting in and out of a slam, doing whatever, showing up for Davis Cup feels like it was very makeable then. And the suggestion that you won't return, and we didn't have this many tournaments. But no, listen, they used to play a ton then. I just think that the landscape is different. But I think I don't know why you would make changes based on a fairly unique subset of time.
Because of the money, right? The quick money.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Like, who knows? You might end up returning to a period where some people thrive on some surfaces and others don't. And then they're going to be available to do Davis Cup regardless. Like, I don't know why you're presuming that you're going to have for the next 10 years, the top 5 guys are going to be like a Federer, Nadal, you know what I mean? Like,
well, I think the problem for me is like what I think is going to be, if Davis Cup doesn't watch itself and when it's allowed all these money men in suit to run the show and dictate how it should be going, and they're not concerned about the people, is that they're going to try something, it's going to fail, and they're going to cancel Davis Cup altogether.
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
but the question has always been, nobody's asked that question, but do you need Davis Cup? Davis Cup came of age in a different time. The question is, do you need it? What's the value of it? Other people talk about how there's all this money that comes into the game and supports growth of tennis, but Davis Cup can't be the only mechanism for that.
Well, I think that value in Davis Cup is supposed to say, one, I think it allows regions and places and players to be featured that are not heavily featured otherwise, right?
Well, not only that, you get to see tennis come and perform as a team.
Right.
That's what people like about it most.
That's my second point. I think that is valuable. And I mean, like, though I know people like to make this big deal, like, oh my God, I'm so excited, I'm Murray, and I know Murray, I'm Scottish, I'm British, whatever the case may be. I find those kind of nationalistic sentiments are jingoism. It's just like, oh, that's kind of weird because then it's such an individual sport. Like, you know, that Murray is from Scotland, England, Britain, and Federer from Switzerland. It's such a pointless thing. Like, you're following the person and the personality. Like, their nationality is irrelevant, really. You know, because, I mean, people follow, you know, it's like so much. Because tennis doesn't have a sort of a world championship thing.
Is it though? Because Andreen just got done talking about how she felt like that woman didn't want to cheer for the Russian.
Yeah, so, because that woman is a trumper.
It doesn't matter why. It just matters that exists.
But you know what? You're right. Maybe that's just my personal feeling, right? Because I mean, like where I'm from in the Caribbean, none of my national peeps are up on tennis. So if I'm following tennis only for nationalistic purposes, I've made to sit my ass down.
Well, but I don't think that matters. I think you can do both. I think you can have your favorites, and then I think you can cheer for a nation. It's no different with the World Cup. You have players that come together every 4 years and they play the World Cup who play for their nation. You know, Messi doesn't play on. He plays for Argentina and then he packs up and he goes back to Spain. I mean, what's the difference?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I think you just mentioned something that's rather interesting. For those events to happen, there is a collaboration from the professional circuit, and they say no matches happen at this time. They take a break from the schedule, and this is the thing that tennis isn't willing to do. They don't want to stop any tournament from existing or taking a break from it happening. And all the players are arguing for, and all the players have been talking about, they have not been talking about, they're not been saying, I don't want to play Davis Cup because I don't like how Davis Cup is. They're saying, I can't show up for Davis Cup and play 5 setters and show up the next day and be healthy for X event. I can't show up for the US Open and try to get to the end of the day and then show up for Davis Cup finals the next day or like 2 weeks from now. They're talking about there needs to be a break. And I think that's all from all I've gathered from the players talk, the complaining, that has been the issue. We can't show up full force for Davis Cup and then show up full force for the tournament.
Because of the nature of the schedule.
Because the nature of the schedule. So you have to.
I think the players have always just lobbied for an every other year, if I'm not even mistaken. I think they're actually fairly modest about it.
But every other year wouldn't make a difference if the schedule still looks the same, though. If after Davis Cup, we got to play X event and one application.
But you see, I don't understand that, though. I never understood that, because all the events are there to help you make money, but they're not there for you to always play.
That's true. Fair point. Excellent point. Excellent point.
That's always the question, right? That's always been my question is, I think there's all this pressure, I guess, to play Davis Cup. So I guess the player wants the option of opting out, of not having to make that choice. So if there's nothing else playing, that feels like okay for them. But to me, it seems like you have a marketplace of matches that you get to access and make money as you need to, because who's turning down work? But if there's another incentive that's better, which is Davis Cup, go do Davis Cup.
You know what's going to be interesting is to see how the rules will have to change somewhat as far as what qualifies you for an Olympics. Because now where it stands, you have 4 opportunities to make yourself available for Davis Cup. So the way that I understand it is if they go to a 1-week World Cup type platform, you can't do that. You can't have it's just not going to work to say we're only going to have this many people. The number of people involved are going to be cut down a lot. So it's going to be weird to say, well, yeah, you were available, but you couldn't play. All of that's going to have to change. That will not work at all. Because that's a huge part of qualifying for an Olympics. You have to have been available for Davis Cup. You have to have been available for Fed Cup. But the opportunity to do that right now,
well, they can do straight up rankings. They could just do straight up rankings for the Olympics.
Yeah, well, maybe, but I don't know. That's just
some years it has just been the rankings. It's never been like basic. Well, actually, no.
No, you have to always have been either played or been available for Davis Cup. Always.
But then again, considering how true.
But you know what? I've never understood why. I mean,
the Olympics ain't that big of a deal.
Well, it's because it's a national thing, So if you're gonna play for your country in the Olympics, then you better have at least tried to play for your country on the national level. The only time that it's available.
But you know what's funny is that there are very few.
They're always playing for their country.
Exactly.
That's what they need to change their mind about. You're always representing your country.
Well, but they're not. So
they are.
I mean, they are. In all reality, sure they are. But in the way the rules stand now, they're not.
You can't tell Simona that she won. You can't tell Simona she won the French Open, and that's for her.
Yeah, they had a party for her like she won.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, but those aren't the rules now.
I think that's the thing.
I don't know whether the rules. You're right. I'm agreeing with Andreen here because I mean, like to me, it's just a weird thing.
But those are the rules. It doesn't matter if it's weird. Those are the rules right now.
But and this is the question: is why weren't certain rules up for negotiation? I think Realz is right in the sense that this is a change to Davis Cup that nobody who actually plays it and seems enthusiastic for it is excited about, except for the people who are proposing this new venture.
Yeah, it's about money because
whatever the reason is, I don't care. I mean, money is good too, but I'm just saying maybe. But then I guess I was about to say, why didn't you create something new? But it seems weird to me that players have had problems with Davis Cup, have indicated what the problems are, and then the bodies have just ignored their feedback.
Because I mean, like they don't have. They're not in the room.
Because
in
In order for something like this to work, they would have to do it like they do the World Cup. It would have to take a month, and it should go, to several different venues, maybe in one country. But the tennis season itself is too long. The only time you could put that in, and it still isn't a clear schedule, is November, December. Well, that's your rest time. So without eliminating something else like soccer does,
Here's the thing.
Which even they don't fully, though. They don't.
You can eliminate
the players that aren't playing in the World Cup, they're still playing other places. It's just that the World Cup gets so much attention, you don't realize that there's other stuff going on. But there is.
Here's the thing. This is the idea that everybody can't be winners, and they cancel the tournament every year all the time. We literally had a guy on our podcast, Jared. He didn't get his money. They canceled the tournament. Okay.
Right, but they're not going to clear the schedule for it because it's not big enough.
But here's the thing. I am not on board with any Davis Cup changes unless I'm hearing players being the forefront of the situation. Anything else, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, it's just gonna be messy. And also, everyone can't be winners. Everyone won't always like the changes. That is to be expected. But I just can't get behind anything where I'm not hearing players vocalize and players are not at the forefront of their concern.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know that they are or they aren't, to be honest. I have no idea. I doubt that they are, but I don't know.
Players don't want to share. They don't talk.
I have no idea if they were involved in any of this.
And plus, when they get in
for
front
all
of
we know, they could have taken an email survey and, people didn't click the link when they got it. I don't know.
True. And plus, during the press conference, we ain't got time to talk about that. We got time to talk about heroics. Right? Like, oh my God, you played till 4 o'clock. Oh my God, excited. You played like the longest match ever at this event. Like, oh my God, like, by the way, like, what do you like to do when you're in this side of town? Like, oh my God, like, yeah. That's what they like to talk about. But
so that's that. What else?
So I saw Andreen made a mention of player ranking changes. Year in number 1 is in play. Oh, interesting.
Well, because on the
WTA, it's always in play.
It's always in play, but I think on the ATP side, it's also in play, right? Because
Nole is back.
Yeah, Nole has no points to defend for the rest of the year, and are
there enough points available that he's gonna play that he could be number 1? Where's he at? How many points is he at?
I mean, he has the ability.
Well, he's never fall out of the rankings like in some land of no replay. You know what I mean?
He was in the 20s, but no, I mean, I think if you think about Nole right now, if he wins the US Open, he's really, because he's already I think 10th, somewhere around. Actually, no, I think he's even higher in terms of the race.
He's 10, but he's only got 3,335 points, where Nadal, who's number 1, has 9,310.
But he shut down his season early, so he isn't defending anything. Really.
He's defending nothing.
So he's only going to gain. So what I'm asking is, are there enough points available?
Yeah, but think about it. If he won Cincy, if he won Toronto, and if he won the U.S. Open, and there's several tournaments in the fall, and
Did
you remember
play Toronto last year?
I don't think so. And then think about Rafa.
It just says
actually, no, he probably did not.
Yeah, he did.
Here's the thing.
He dropped out after Wimbledon. Wimbledon was it because he had that elbow.
Here's the thing.
Yep.
If he wins because he has 10 points now, right? Which means that he didn't play last year, right? Yep. He's plus 10 points. If he wins Toronto, that's 1,000 points.
Yep.
He's going to be number 6. He's not gonna be for him to be number 1. Rafa is at 9,000 points. He has to basically.
But Rafa's points are going to drop off. Rafa has to defend the U.S. Open.
Oh, he won the U.S. Open last year.
Yeah,
he's not going to defend that.
I don't know.
You remember that epic match he played Kevin Anderson? What's wrong with you?
No, I don't remember it at all.
I'm embarrassed for you. And you say you're on a podcast.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's necessarily. I just think that there's a race. Actually, you know how that normally.
Yeah, there's a race, but I don't know how much
an actual race.
I don't know. It's gonna be exciting because actually Del Potro is number 3 in the world. People, Del Potro is number 3.
I'm just saying the ATP ranked game has some movement that's possible.
Yeah, it's gonna be exciting today, but I don't think
because for the first time in a very long time, the point spread between 10 and 3 isn't so huge. It's decent between 10-1 and even 10-2. Federer is at, about 7,000 points where Rafa's at 9, but Zverev is knocking on the door at just over 5,600.
I'm sorry. Mine is at live ranking. So Federer is actually at 6,000 because they took away the points from thing. So Zverev's number, okay.
But I mean, there's a lot of room to move there.
The top 10 can be exciting and shape.
There's a lot of room for people to maneuver and get to positions. Like if Federer doesn't defend any point, I mean, he doesn't have that many, but if he doesn't defend any of the points that he has left, then Zverev can move up to number 2. I mean, that would be a huge rank for him and Del Potro. Except for Del Potro, I think he got to the semis, so he definitely has to do something at the U.S. Open.
But Delpo if Delpo works steady, and with working some kind of OBR or some magical something, like putting some roots on him, Delpo also can be number 2. So I think the real fight is in who's gonna be in the top 5, because I know Dimitrov is not gonna be in there. So let's just put that out there. At the end of the day, girl. Let's be 100 here. This is the Real Tennis Podcast, okay? Let's be 100 here, okay? Dimitrov is giving up his
Novak to make a big jump. I mean, for sure. I mean,
Kevin Anderson going to show us something. You know what I mean? He should be feeling his oats. He has to defend the finals. He just beat Federer. He got another final, so it wasn't a fluke. So it can be exciting, but I think I'm gonna say right now it's August that Nadal got number 1 on lockdown. He's gonna bring his body. He's gonna try to rein his body in to maintain that number 1 ranking.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think it all depends on him,
because he's gonna just show up for that 20 points in the year-end championships and pull out. I think he's already resigned that he ain't gonna win that shit ever. And if he wins it, that's even more points for him. So, because he played only 1 match last year, if I'm not mistaken. So
is he playing in Toronto?
So WTA, that means that Serena better be doing well. I ain't got no real storyline. Just saying, unfortunately, it's a sad day, but you know what? The papers, I set it up this way. It's gonna be all about the men's, but Serena get her shit together. I got something to talk about. Sloan.
Well,
she ain't too busy taking pictures.
That was the men's stuff. Most of those issues we covered were men. I think Sloan defends a lot of points this summer. This was where she had her wonderful summer last year, no?
Well, I mean, I think you need to correct that. There's a little modifier. Sloan has a lot of points to defend this summer, but Sloan won't defend any of those points this summer.
All right then. Poor Sloan. It's so probably true.
I mean, if she does defend those points, that is Sloan's career right there. That is what I'm gonna say. I put her in the Hall of Fame right there. That's it. Because I get the sense of Sloan is that she's writing off of this kind of attitude, like, what? She has this attitude like, they say I won't make it, I made it. So fuck the haters. She's on that hater patrol. That's the kind of sense I get. I mean, I want her to do well, and I like seeing her do well, and she seems pleasant enough, whatever the case to me. But I don't always get. I don't
feel like she cares all the time.
Yeah, I don't always get that she really cares. But when she's in it, and she's exciting to watch, and she's fun. She's bubbly personality. I mean, she does. She means she can. But I just don't think the press knows how to engage with her.
I don't think she wants to engage with the press.
But you know what? I mean, and again, I'm gonna say, for me, the coup de grace for me is that she ain't her gay best friend, because as she had a gay best friend, a gay in a box, a lot of mess I see putting out there. Ooh, weaved fashion girl. Call Realz, Sloan. Call Realz. I'm gonna have Chad to pass you a note and give you my digit, because you need to. Because you know what? But you know what? I mean, I think if she wants it, I mean, it would be interesting to see how Sloan's careers end, because I think she's a player who can dominate the tour. I mean, particularly if Serena is 36, going to be 37. So she can't always be Serena, Superwoman, you know, like no matter whatever her fans want to say, you know what I mean? Like she can't. She can't. It won't, okay? The body will defeat Rafa, and the body will defeat Serena. You know what I mean? Like, but I think she's a player, and the WTA can really use a player like Sloane, you know what I mean? Because I mean, like, let's be honest. Someone like Petra should have been dominated in Serena's absence, but Petra got out of the interest. But also Petra was injured. You know what I mean? And, you know, Azarenka should have been lapping up a lot of these things. But, you know,
I'm somewhat disappointed. Like,
yeah, you know, she got pregnant. She had
but think about San Jose. Think about all the possibilities that were there in that draw and then what you ended up with. You know, not to say it's always nice when new people win, right? But it didn't continue any of the storylines for your old favorites, right?
Welcome to the world of sports.
But, you know, I mean, I think, like Vika, whoever is working with Vika right now, they don't know Vika's rhythm. They don't know how to teach Vika to get back into her rhythm. And maybe let's say 100. Vika just had a baby. So Vika had a baby. So sometimes when you had a baby, as Janina points out and tells us all the time, us non-mothers, you know, like you had an alien in your body and your body becomes alien. It doesn't work the same way you think it used to work. You might look the same, but your body just don't seem to react the same. And also she has the priorities now. I mean, like, I wouldn't have children because I just keep thinking I have anxiety attacks, thinking, oh my God, they could probably kill my child outside when he's not in front of me. They probably kill us together. Anyway, you know what I mean? That's why I won't have children. So I'm not saying that being a mother is a quote unquote weakness, but you know, there's different things in our life right now, and then different more important things in her life now. And the same thing for Serena. Like, you know, things might not just always work the same way as you want it to. And Vika, though anybody want to talk about it, her weight has been fluctuating. She looked really skinny and unhealthy some time ago. So that too can be an issue. But I mean, like, I'm always excited to see Vika playing well and, you know, doing well. But every match, when I watch Vika playing every match just seemed like a labor. It just seemed like everything is effort.
Did you think Vika was going to come back fully refreshed and ready to go?
But didn't she just retire?
Well, no. I mean, like, I didn't think Vika was going to come back and win tournaments per se. But I thought Vika was going to come back and give these bitches hell. You know, like, she's going to be like, girl.
She still might.
You know, because, I mean, like, it's something when you can win 2 majors. She won 2 majors or 1?
2.
She won 2? Yeah. Are we sure?
US Open and Australian Open.
She never won the US Open. Serena took care of that.
I think it's right.
Did she win 2?
Maybe she had 2 Aussies. Oh my God, let's figure that out. I can't.
I know she won the Aussie once.
Yes, I remember that Maria beat.
Maybe I'm thinking of Kerber.
Yeah, she won Aussie twice. I think she beat Lena. Right? She beat Lena and she beat Maria. Bagel Maria for sure. That I'm absolutely sure about. I remember all Maria bagels. But I mean, like, yeah. I think she won the Aussie twice. She won back-to-back Aussie. But I have to say, I mean, like, it is something when you can marshal it takes special and magic talent when you don't have a serve and you can win. I mean, like, look, that takes talent. Because if you didn't serve, we would have been talking about Dementieva as Hall of Famer, okay? We would have been talking about Hall of Famer. But if you can negotiate your match and your talent and your skill set without a serve, okay, like Vika has, you could do magic. And that serve today, Christ, I have more faith in Anna Ivanovic to get herself.
Oh, come on.
Girl, have you seen Vika matches? Like, Vika cannot hold serve.
Ivanovic.
Even if you double bag it. Ivanovic's problem is that she chasing the serve, the ball toss. So sometimes she might be mindful to go right up and down. But Vika got all kind of problems. That serve is just messy. And I think maybe if things are this bad, I will go back and call that Sam Sumik, that torturer. Because at least you break it down. You can't get any worse than what you are, right? No. He's gonna Margarita will be willing to give you Margarita will give him away. She would pay she'll pay for your coaching. I swear to God, Muggs. And I mean, Muggs is another player too. I thought Muggs would have capitalized on this opportunity because I mean, though she's been able to handle Serena, she has to look over her back for someone like Serena, right? Mm-hmm. Serena is like the only player when Muggs is playing very well.
Yep.
Serena is the only player who can handle Muggs. But Muggs is just like uninterested. She's interested in wearing denim and denim. I don't know what to say.
You're a mess. Leave her alone.
I have to say, you know, like I mean, like I'm not one to bash the WTA, but I'm just simply saying, you know, like
what?
You're kind of bashing and you're kind of lying right now.
What I'm saying, I
you've lost credibility right there.
Box wine. It's the box wine.
Stopped while you were.
No, I'm just simply saying, you know, like I'm excited. I'm always I don't want the WTA to be like the ATP unless we're talking about Venus Williams.
Yeah,
but she already told me, Realz, get a life. Okay, that shit ain't happening. Okay, like that shit ain't happening. But what I'm excited on for the ladies is they have to be like a buzz of players. I don't mind, like, you know, early 2000 when you had that thief Jennifer Capriati, you had Hingis, you had the Williams sisters, you had the Belgians, and you had a splinking of Russians who weren't doping. Okay, at least not that we know of. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When you had a core group of people, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Now I gotta deal with name like Bazooka. I gotta deal with Saka. I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I swear to God, like with the WTA right now, you can shake up a bag with the 128 women in the tour, pick a name and be like, she gonna win the major. And you could be right. You're absolutely right.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's part of
There's nothing wrong with that. However, what is wrong with that is that winner ain't gonna win another tournament for the rest of the year.
It's okay. That's what tennis used to look like.
It is. You guys got lazy.
You better listen to what Serena's saying, because what she's saying is she has postpartum depression. I hope you're listening, because that ain't no joke.
Well, you know what? That is, you know what? You know what?
Did something new come from Serena for that to be said?
Yeah.
What did she say?
She made an Instagram post and she was talking about how she was dealing with some personal things and how her emotions were all over the place, and she had to talk to her mother and people who have already had children who reassured her that this is a normal part of post-pregnancy. So
Serena.
Well, wait. Let Janina, the mom, explain. Thank you.
I mean, it's a very real issue. It can be serious, you know. I'm just saying, listen to what she's saying, because she's telling you what's going on, because people were accusing her of not caring or whatever. She's telling you, my mind is not in a good place right now, and I didn't know why. And I needed to talk to my mother, you know, to kind of help her feel my way through this as to why I'm having these emotions that I do. And, you know, scientifically, after you have a baby and your hormones start going whack, that shit can last a long time. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's probably more difficult for her as an athlete, because it happens to a lot of people that have had babies. But you know what they do? They go get medicine.
Yep.
That's probably not something she's even thinking is a possibility for her.
Well, you know what? I feel vindicated because, Serena, I said this from the jump. Okay? I told you not to follow these Twitter people, these Snapchat people, these, you know, follow and get your baby is not even a year old yet. Not even a year old. You got them running around.
You're such a I told you so.
You know what? Because you know what? Realz can be a petty bitch.
Don't we know it?
And when it's on health and safety, Realz get real.
But there's nothing that you can do about this. You can't predict it.
No, you can predict it.
No, you can't. It doesn't happen to everybody. You absolutely can. How do you predict it? Tell me how.
Because you know what? Serena was class A. She is prototype, because Serena was a phenomenon. She was at the top of her fucking game. Okay, what I mean? Serena defied all expectation, whether from quote unquote coming from Compton, whatever the case may be. This baby was not planned. I don't care what you want to tell people. And here's the thing. I mean, like, she came out really quick. She didn't allow her body to heal. We saw that when she came out early in the year. You know what I mean? And she wanted to play tennis even while she was pregnant.
Get to the point where you tell me how you could predict this.
Because why wouldn't you think that she left the game at the top of the game?
Well, tell me exactly what you're not predicting, because I'm confused.
What do you mean not predict? I predicted that she's a classic case of what postpartum depression would look like.
Bullshit. You don't get to say that.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
How do you know? It's not predictable.
It's not predictable. You're talking. You are talking crazy right now, and you should probably just stop.
No, wait. Maybe I am not calling. Maybe it might not be. I'm not fully aware of what postpartum depression is and what the
it's called your hormones are out of whack.
Okay. I'm not
your emotions out of whack.
Okay, sorry. I wasn't thinking of it in terms of a hormonal level.
It is hormones. I just told you that. Were you not listening?
Okay, wait. I wasn't thinking about her in terms of postpartum depression as being a hormonal thing. I was just thinking about in the fact that, like, you left the game having won a major while pregnant, and you came back early from the thing, and you didn't. It wasn't easy. You got to the final of the Wimbledon, and you thought that was a winnable match, and you didn't win. I clearly, in my mind, Serena was dealing with issues and will feel some kind of psychological issue.
Why do you keep saying she came back early? What is it?
It's early for her. It was early.
It is early.
Why is it early?
Because it was, you know what, Janina,
she had a complicated pregnancy.
Usually it takes a while to even recover from a complicated pregnancy, even if you're not an athlete. So the idea that she, once it was sort of revealed how much had happened to her during her pregnancy, many people, I don't think has anyone come back to the tour as early as she has?
How long was it?
Less than a year.
The baby is not even a year old. I mean, the baby was in September.
It's less than a year. So
I don't think she would have come back if she didn't think she could do it. And that's her choice to make.
Athlete.
That's her choice to make.
I always remember something that Venus said. Venus said while dealing with Sjogren, she said Sjogren was literally depleting her energy. And they talked about this. You could have seen Sjogren's like since 2005. 2007, she played a match against Justine in the semifinal US Open. And everyone was just like, what's wrong with Venus? She was like, what's wrong with her? She didn't get diagnosed until like 3 years later. And she was already doing the effect. And she said, how do you tell an athlete that he can't go there and do what their body has always been doing?
What they've always got to do.
Exactly. How can you tell an athlete that their mind can't be? And I just said this to a trainer yesterday, on Friday. You think that you could punch a wall because you've been boxing, but here's what: your body always wins. Your mind will tell you that your body could defeat that your body can defeat your mind. But the thing about it is your body always wins. And this is the thing too. Yes, Serena is a pro athlete. She was at the top of the game. She won while 3 months pregnant or 2 months pregnant, whatever the case may be. But here's the thing: your body is your body. You can't mind warp your body.
Well, they believe they can, though.
They believe they can because it has worked, right? It has worked in the past when you were at the top of your game, but you had a baby. And as you pointed out, your hormones are all out of whack. And your hormones are all out of whack, not just for your emotional state, but for your physical state as well. And to me, I'm not saying she came back too early, that's true, but she had huge expectation on herself. Serena doesn't go out there generally unless she thinks she can win. And Wimbledon was an excellent tournament. Everyone had her penciled in to win that. Mm-hmm. And not only that, she lost badly. She lost badly to Kerber. That was a horrible loss. It might look cute on paper, but it was a horrible loss. And she lost badly to Konta. And Konta wasn't even playing that well because she lost the next round. So it's no surprise. And I mean, like, it's really hard. Plus, Serena is 36. She's going to be 37.
Do you know how much time people get off work for having a baby? Do you know what the standard is?
But they're not taking their bodies to somebody.
But do you know what it is?
6 weeks.
It's 6 weeks when you have a vaginal birth. It's 12 weeks up to if you have a C-section.
Janina, they sit at a desk. They probably walk around. Serena's job is her body.
Yeah.
I understand that it's her body. It's just really odd to me that you're saying that you're making the choice that she did something that she shouldn't have done. Like,
I don't think anyone's saying anything.
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying.
It's not about shoulds. It's about understanding that. I think it's about, in some sense, recognizing that the things that make people an extraordinary athlete can sometimes butt up against these harsh realities when your body can't perform like it normally can be forced to perform. Like, you can let your, his example with Venus, like, you're used to letting your body do what it does best. But when something happens to it that you in some ways have no control over, it's a different mindset for you to bring to the table when you are used to letting your body basically perform at extreme levels.
The flip side of that is that athletes their bodies are elite. They are different than everyone else's. And because they are so healthy, they tend to heal quicker.
That's the perception.
That's the perception. But here's the thing. You have to take you have to approach this with a different mindset. You have to. Because here's the thing. Venus ain't winning majors. She had an excellent 2017, but a horrible 2018. She's paying for that. So when you go there, you can't just expect your goal for being out there isn't supposed to win.
No, but Venus has an illness that can creep up on her at any moment and any given day. Pregnancy is not an illness. And I really feel like Serena would be doing better. Postpartum depression aside, I really truly feel like she would be doing better if she were playing more. We see every time she plays, we see flashes of the Serena that we expect to see, regardless of what's going on in her life.
Serena pre-baby.
What?
You're right. That's my point. But if she wants to get back there, she's not going to get back there by playing once every 6 weeks. That's not going to happen. That's unrealistic.
But that might be one thing too. She has to go out and take these bad losses and whatever. But here's the thing. Serena isn't allowed by the public and the general mass hysteria to take these losses quite simply. You know what I mean? So that's another added element to her.
Her success has made people spoil and
exactly
her to thrive.
So one, listen to Serena showed up in Wimbledon. No one had expectation for Muguruza to defend a title. No one had expectation on Konta. No one even expected Kerber to win it. Everyone saw Serena's in the draw. She looked serious. Boom.
But she looked great until that final.
Yes, she
so
did.
That's the reason why everybody was like, "Oh, well, we have to give her fair props here."
Serena doesn't allow herself to be human, and nor does the rest of the public allow her to be human. She is a human being, and we shouldn't define Serena playing tennis and being on the tennis court just by winning. And winning greatly.
That's how we define athletes, like it or not.
No. Nope.
We don't
That's
do that
not
for
true.
Lots of people.
Because here's the thing: only one person winning that gold medal. Only one person, and everybody else is not an athlete.
But listen, at the end of the day, you live and you die by the sword. Serena lives and dies by being the top person that everybody looks at.
She needs to reevaluate that thing.
Listen.
Maybe what I don't like is the fact that you can say what she needs to do. Like, maybe we should say it differently.
Well, I don't know how else to say this. Serena is 36. She's going to be 37 next month.
The thing is you don't get to talk to her at night alone in her thoughts and know what she's thinking for you to say this is what she needs to do.
Wait. That doesn't make any sense. We do that for every single person that we talk about. We just
did this a while ago to Federer and Nadal.
Yeah, we just said this is not going to be around with it. But wait, there's more going on to this then. Janina, you're having an interaction around this Serena situation that's different for you. What's different about it? Because we talk about what athletes should do all the time here. Is it the pregnancy element of it?
Because I don't think that anybody gets to say. It's the same thing of when people say so and so is old and they should retire. You don't get to retire people. You don't get to retire people, and you don't get to tell them when that they did something too soon, that they should have taken more time. You work on, they work on their own timeline. You might think that they would have done better if they waited, but you don't know that. You have no idea. And you don't get to make the decision for anybody how they decide to spend their time.
Well, here's
you don't
the
get
thing.
To police that.
But here's the thing. I'm not saying that she should
understand that. I think we police a lot of things, but
I'm just simply saying her
I'm not saying that we don't. I'm saying we shouldn't.
I'm just simply saying that. Here's the thing. I'm just simply saying to Serena, your expectations have to be different because you're not the same as you were 2 years ago. It has to be different. And if you're trying to reimagine and recreate 2007 or 2003, 2002, or Serena before the baby and all things.
We talk about that athlete mentality all the time. And if she doesn't believe in herself that she can do it, who's going to? Why should she lower her expectations? She may not meet those expectations right away, but she can't go back out on court thinking that it's okay. I just don't think that mentality works.
Listen, whether it works or not, it'll be interesting to watch that journey because we
are watching it.
But I think people are having a difficult time putting Serena in real context. And then we're going to have to see what that looks like, right? Because part of it is we have had time to see Venus. Venus was at the top of her game for many, many years. But what we now see is that she can give you glimpses of that, glimmers of it, and you feel like she's about to rip up a title and it doesn't happen. I don't think anyone has ever come and approached Serena that way. But I think but my sense but they will have to, because at some point in time, her age and maybe potentially health crises that she has had for the last year necessitate that maybe you think like that a little bit. But the idea that Serena was always going to function at this optimal level for a really long time until she left the game is unusual. It's an unusual expectation.
And also, it might also, and as I pointed out,
but it's totally different, I think, when you talk about an aging body as opposed to someone and getting over a pregnancy.
But it's an aging body plus a pregnancy.
But that's not what we're saying here.
But I am because Serena's not having a baby at 22. She didn't do that.
Right.
She had a baby in her 30s. And I'm not saying, none of us knows. But the other thing about it that we know, because she shared it, was that it was not an easy pregnancy. And remember, Serena has a history of other health crises and continues to, because she's got to wear compression socks. So, there are all these other things that are happening that means that her body that she started with 2 years ago is no longer that body. And even the question of whether she will return to that body, nobody returns to, but there's a perception, right, that you can return to it. It feels like that's also new too. So it looks to me like, as you say, whether it's postpartum or many things, right? There are many adjustable things that I think Serena is really dealing with right now.
And also there could be the factor that I mentioned several times on this podcast. Maybe she just want to go home and spend time with her baby and her husband.
Well,
and she doesn't want to be out on court.
I think I think she does. No, I think she does. I think she wants that more and more all the time. And I think she talks about it. She talks about, in this last post that she shared with everybody, feeling like she wasn't a good mother because she was going in training. And there's gonna come a point in time. There's gonna come a point in time where she is probably going to want to make a decision about that.
Well, the trade-off won't be worth it. Like how many other slams do you want to win?
Right.
Versus the thing that you're missing.
Right.
When maybe the feeling of the slam doesn't mean the same. You know what I mean? Those are the things, right? Those
you
are
have
the things
that on multiple times, but you're only going to see your daughter walk for the first time once. And I mean, and these are things that I have said that, I think fans are not allowing Serena to feel like it is okay to fail.
There is that too. Not fail, but just to not be at
the champion at the top
level
of the
that
game.
she always
Exactly.
was. I mean,
This
I think
is
we
not
have
the
to,
same
and I also think we have to be really careful because I think it's a little bit of the Superwoman Black Girl Magic thing that turns against you, which is to expect Black women to thrive even when things are problematic. And just because we can do it doesn't mean that there's something wrong if it's not happening as quickly under the timetable that someone else has set and maybe even you've set for yourself. Like, this is all like a work in progress that feels fine. I think the biggest logistical problem for me for Serena though is that the tournaments that are left, and if she uses her protective ranking, she's encountering really strong players out the gate. She does not have the time to get herself into match play. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that's somewhat worrying for somebody.
Serena,
like
for what? Invite them to your little tennis court.
No. Actually, I think she does a K. You know, just play like
with the B level, the internationals.
Play something like that just to get your rhythm going, to be on the court for a long period of time. Because every time someone sees Serena's name on that draw sheet, they want it because that's their chance for a good win. And then, I mean, that sad thing is it was a bad match, but also she was not even out there that long. There's no way for her to get comfortable in her game anymore, you know? So it's like, to be able to just be out there, develop a rhythm, figure out what's working in a competitive atmosphere.
And those tournaments are in somebody's backyard that she could put Olivia, right? Olympia. Olympia.
It's a little bit more casual.
Yeah, Olympia could be right next door.
I mean, you basically it's a banner year.
Girl, Olympia could call the lines for you, girl.
No, it's like a banner. It's a banner year for whatever tournament she picks. Just so she can be out there, right?
But here's the thing, Serena. And here's the thing.
Wait, I'm gonna go play challenger levels to get some match play. You know, then what? Is she coming back too soon? I don't think anything's wrong with it. I think that would be a great strategy. I have said for months that I think what she needs, if she wants to really truly go try to get back to that level of dominance, is match play, because we do see every single match, even if it's only 1 or 2 points, we see that obviously she still got it, but she's never ever going to get there if she doesn't play, and she's not playing. She's not playing. Now, if it comes down to her body isn't ready, then that's fine, but I don't believe that's the case. I really don't, because I think she's smarter than that. I think emotionally, that's something that you can try to ignore, especially when you don't know what's wrong. But physically, if her body wasn't ready, she wouldn't be there. I don't buy that. I don't buy it for 1 second. I don't care if it was.
It wasn't ready at Roland Garros to manage.
But she tried.
Exactly.
And she admitted it.
No, she didn't know until she was injured.
How else do you know, though?
Exactly. You don't always
really
know.
The problem is
you don't always know.
So what is it? Pick a different tournament? Like, don't pick a major to come back. Go play. Like,
to be honest, though, kind of, because because the way the draws are, Serena is encountering Konta in the first round.
Who cares?
But listen. First of all, who cares is like Konta she can be a good player. The idea that, oh my God, you should be walking all over Konta. No, she shouldn't. Okay. She's battled Konta before. It's not
but if what she wants is match play,
then if you want,
what does it matter who she plays?
It matters if you're going to get your ass kicked, because Konta has been playing for 6 months longer than you have and knows her game and has her sense of her rhythm. It matters in some ways, right? Because that's the point of going to a challenger circuit. It's not so much that you want to like trounce people. The point is to be out there first round, second round, third round.
So you're saying play the lower level matches so that you're out there longer and you don't have to take an ass whooping because you're not getting the match play, or because she shouldn't have to take an ass whooping?
No. I'm just saying play the lower level tours so you play, so that you get yourself into the space where you figure out, am I fit enough to last out here, right? Because one of the things that people had a question about in the final was she fit enough for that final? Was she fit enough to grind out some of those points, or had she gotten too nervous, or was she going for too much, right? You know, so it's like part of it is just being out there in a competitive atmosphere and problem solving.
So do you think
she just hasn't had that much time? Before you know it, she's lost, and you're like,
no.
Oh.
I had a conversation with, Ultra Serena fan Tony, and I said, I think she maybe should go play some challengers just to get that match play. That's the conversation that we had. His response to me was, I don't think that competition is good enough for her.
But it has nothing to do with competition. It's about her body and her rhythm.
The
idea is like, it's not about that. But she's not playing enough. Like, what do all the athletes say? There's nothing like match play. Yeah. You just need that energy, that nervousness, that whatever, or that new player coming across from you. Because you know what? You're right. Even at the challenger level, Serena will not be encountering a challenger player. Right? They will be bringing their best because they want to be her.
Exactly. Plus, they're getting all that focus. They're going to be, they're going to have people in the stands. There will be people in the stands. That's the first thing.
There was no shame in Kei Nishikori doing it, not because he wasn't talented and capable of kicking these people's asses, but I think he needed to know if his body could endure it.
And guess what? Kei has not pulled out.
I know, but because he's had
been doing a Taylor Fritz.
He's had time. That's
Did you say he what?
But you know what? My worry is that Serena's just not having enough time to be out there. Right. And I think initially, it was a good strategy at Roland Garros to play singles and doubles because she hadn't played. Right. But then that turned out to be too much strained, with her chest area. So that was unfortunate. That's fine. She learned her lesson, didn't do doubles for Wimbledon. But unfortunately, right now you
didn't show up and they didn't provide anything.
I know, but now what you end up having is if there's the next legitimate tournament for her, if she doesn't play something less than like Cincy, right, is what some of those tournaments that happen in Connecticut, maybe. I mean, like, that's the thing. It's like, what are some of the lead up experiences?
Well, and what's going to be interesting, she, assuming that she does play in Cincinnati, she doesn't get a bye.
Exactly.
The ranking's not high enough. Neither is Novak's.
I know. They're all going to play.
They're all going to be playing on Monday, Tuesday, where we're never used to seeing them play.
Novak doesn't get a bye?
No, his ranking's not high enough. So they've got to play one extra match.
And which will be good for her if she had.
It'll be good for all of them,
and it's also going to be nice for her because
it ain't gonna make no sense if she losing in the first round.
But that's what I'm saying. It would be nice if she ended up getting a good player that she could. We all talk about draws that allow you to work your way into it. You do not want to start a draw with a Conte, even if you could beat her on your best day. Because Conte's like, this is my chance. And she can put it together. You know what I mean? So, it'd be nice if the draw is generous enough that she gets somebody who can hit her some balls and allow her to figure out where she is at with her game. And also emotion management. I don't know. Like she says, her emotions are all over the court. Maybe it's also all over the court mentally for her when she's on court. So, she has to manage the ups and downs emotionally too, probably. So I think there's so many things that are going on that it would just be nice to be able to see her be around for a couple rounds, and be like, okay. And I think the expectation,
but again,
no,
it's not real match. It's not real match.
Nobody needs to do that.
We're gonna bite my head off.
What?
Because she seems to be the Serena captain around here, which is okay. She's representing her good Judy Tony, because Tony came to our rescue when I was dragging Sveta today, and that's okay. I'm all for that.
I mean, I don't know why you would. I mean, I could drag Sveta. I sat through that damn match, but go ahead.
I was dragging Sveta for the old.
He was dragging her kit. He hates it. He said
Tony
she bought it from Costco.
She looks really good.
Can I tell you?
I smell a bias right
Tell
here.
Andreen.
Let me tell you
how good she looked.
Let me tell you the truth of it. Svetlana looks amazingly fit, and she looks great. It's unfortunate
that the clothes didn't fit her.
No, the kit is too big, actually.
Thank you.
To be honest, she ended up moving it around quite a bit, and I don't know why she doesn't just play with shorts, because
like I said,
she ended up moving it so that she could do that. I was like, I get it, maybe when she was fitted for the kit, she was a little bit bigger, because the kit is way.
No, she bought it at Costco.
You know what I love about the kit?
She bought it in Costco.
I love that it shows off
her tattoos.
wings.
Yeah, I think the tattoo in the back.
Nice.
You know what I actually think would be great is if they made that top more like a traditional wife beater. It's a little too loose, so make it more fitted, and then just give her shorts. She kept pulling that thing like she wanted it to be shorts anyway.
You know what? I'm gonna be that
wear
petty
shorts,
right
and
now.
she
I
used to
say
wear
to
shorts.
Janina, I told you
What?
so.
No, I
mean,
mean, she looks good.
She looks good. She looks great. Actually, she looks really fit, and she
There's
does.
no question about that.
You know what? And can I tell you,
Sveta does not always look fit.
she doesn't always look fit. She sometimes looks a little bit sluggish. I mean, she was going very slowly in the match, but I think she was just trying to pace herself because it was muggy.
And it was Donna Beckett. She was just like, I just gotta wait.
No, I won't even let you do that. Donna Vekic played a great match, and she served well. She served big. And you know what? I mean, Sveta messed up the first set because after being down a break and getting it back on serve, and possibly I think she was even up 40 love when she was serving to stay in the set, and then mental next
Classic
thing you know,
Sveta.
classic Sveta, she loses a set, and you're like, after doing all that work to get back on point. But you know what? Donna was serving big, and I mean, I know people. I don't think she choked. I think Sveta like up leveled a little bit. Maybe things got a little tight in that tie break, but they both swung it. Sveta had mini breaks.
She had match point, but it was on Sveta's serve.
Yeah, at least one of them. And then also Svetlana had many chances to win the set and didn't initially, right? She was up several mini breaks. So it was actually more of a roller coaster ride. But then when she went off, she went off court. I think Donna went off court and got a medical timeout. Which they didn't report, and she came back and she just didn't have it in her. Like it was like the serve was outside the service box.
But you know what? Crying in the bathroom, and then she was just like, "Wow."
But can I tell you seriously, Sveta was almost still gonna choke that match away. She was up 4-love, and I was like, Svetlana, don't you dare let this girl. And you know what? If Donna was fitter and was like in a better mood, she might have been able to like, listen, you want to take this match away?
I felt like Donna only had 2 sets in her, and when she saw the possibility of 3 sets, she was just like,
no, she worked really hard, but I think she tweaked something, and then I think that with her disappointment was just like a deadly combination because she cried in the ceremony. She was really upset. Like she let that. I think she felt very poorly, and she felt like she couldn't compete, and she wasn't. You know, I think she tried.
Well, good for her for not retiring.
Oh yeah, I hate it. Like she
hate it.
Why do y'all get mad when people retire?
I hate when they retire at a final. Just take your ass whooping.
I'm like, look,
I hate it when they retire from the beginning.
Djokovic was retiring, and look what there is redemption in the end.
Oh, shut your mouth right now.
But listen, I'm hoping Svetlana gets a better. I'm hoping Svetlana gets a tighter kit. But just tell them to bring it one size down. Clearly, you are fit.
I mean, girl, it's a barrel of luck when you go in the Costco bin. Shopping out of the Costco bin.
You know what? It's not Costco because
it's her line.
It's her line. It's Svetlana's line because I think it's got SK.
She's been wearing her own line for years.
Nobody else is wearing it, but you know.
I'm just saying. If you got someone to design something for you, and they can't make you look good, you don't get control.
I'm happy that I'm actually happy that we're ending on the women's match because the women's matches, I'll be honest, I sat through 3 men's matches, I guess. None of
them were memorable.
None of them were as memorable as the Svetlana match. Svetlana was doing so many crazy fun things with the ball in her semis, and I was just like, it was just nice because I'd watched Tsitsipas play, and he was so bad. He had no return game, and I was like, what the hell is this matchup? And I was just like, why isn't he coming in a little bit more? Why isn't he doing more? He just, I felt like he was more creative on grass, but he just hadn't found his way a little bit in the match I saw. I guess he was better throughout the week, but he wasn't showing up. And then I was watching the Svetlana match afterwards in the evening, and I was like, oh man. And even my tennis companion was like, wow, 4 or 5 shots in, and they've already gotten to the net a few times. Maybe even did a drop shot and a slice. What's going on here?
Women now, it's fucking hot out here, and I need to be inside with AC. As one woman said, I am AC compatible. Okay.
Oh my god.
Women know that. Okay, like women know there is no glory in killing yourself off for one match and you can't make it for the next one or the next tournament.
Oh my God. Well, listen.
Or grinding it out at the baseline forever.
There's no reason.
Okay,
we got to wrap it up. We had other things we were going to talk about, but this is going to be a 5-hour podcast.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's true.
About what's coming up next. We'll talk about that other thing another day.
Yeah, separately. Okay.
Don't worry about it. Just
can't remember. Okay. Let's move on.
I was gonna say something, but I completely forgot about what it is.
That's probably just fine.
I'm gonna send. I think you got a memo today, and that memo said, "Shut up."
No, she was being coming for me. She tried to test my ability to know whether I know my shit, and then she got on my throat for trying to Serena, and she's not even Serena stan. So I don't understand.
You the only Serena stan here, and I don't know what's going on with you.
She's trying to fight me for her best friend. I'm not about that.
Yep, that's right.
Oh my God,
although my best friend is gonna be knocked down a peg here real soon.
Oh gosh! Oh wow! There's a lot going on.
I have a house full of pens, and I never write shit down. I just never write. And I was anyway.
So what else?
So what are you looking forward to in Toronto? Anything?
Well,
no,
Federer,
Canada.
there's nothing to look forward to.
I'm looking forward to Montreal. Maybe I think I'm. Listen, I'm gonna try to attend to some of the women's matches if I can find them. And I'm actually.
Are they on ESPN?
Listen, I just get excited when
Who knows?
I get excited when it goes to Cincy. I don't really
ESPN. You can't tell me you're covering a tournament and just show me one match at a one time.
Apparently they can.
They can and they will.
And
so
they
stop acting like I'm begging for something, and that ain't right.
Shut up and take it. Shut up and take it.
You didn't even listen. You know what they say? Other courts.
You know what they say to the little kids?
What did they say?
They say to the little kids, "You get what you get, and you don't make a fit."
See, this is what WTA y'all need to fix this. Okay,
stop it! My gosh. Do you ever stop saying that the WTA need to fix things? They can't fix it. They're trapped. I don't know.
They're in an abusive relationship.
Oh, don't say that.
I feel it.
Oh,
the contract. Listen, the contract is set. I don't know. Didn't they sign that contract for years? I don't know what we're gonna do about it.
I mean, just the deal. Sometimes I think of you know what? Let me not answer that because it's probably really bad on women. But you know what? WTA, y'all need to do better. Just saying.
He loves you so much that he's really putting it on you because you saved his life. Because basically, he spends all his time watching your matches. To be honest,
I honestly did watch the women's match. I mean, like
he loves the women's matches better than the men. For sure.
Let me just say, Bazooka knows how to control herself.
She's good. She's good like that.
Yeah,
see, she's gonna be your next favorite player. You're gonna show.
She would not.
You're gonna show up at the U.S. Open just to see her.
Sakari, I gotta say though. Sakari tennis is looking a mess, but that hair was on point. And look, that hair was on point. That slick back into a bun. Oh my God, not even a strand of hair. Merker couldn't even get that right.
Stop it.
Just saying.
So I know I refuse. But so we have some good news. Tell our fans the wonderful news about your journey, Miss Janina from Foreign, Ohio.
Miss Janina from Foreign, Ohio will be making the trip down south next week.
Yes.
It is south, dear. It is south of me.
Okay.
So it's on the very southern tip of Ohio, actually. And yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
You didn't say anything, Janina. You know that, right? You didn't say anything.
She's going to Cincy, and she will have some surprising in store for us, right, Janina?
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So tune in during our Cincy coverage and look for her because we're looking forward to the adventures in hot Ohio. Ooh, God,
and if you have any gifts for Realz, you can give them to Janina and she can leave them on her kitchen table and never say anything. So apparently she got tons of shit.
Oh my God, I'm so bad at sending gifts.
You have never said it. Anything for Andreen. You can give it to Janina, and it would never make it work, but she would tell us about it. So
I'll tell you all about it.
You know what's shocking about it is I really go to the post office and I send things through the mail.
I know.
And she has to
and
drive
I love
to the
it. I'm
post
like,
office.
oh, Andreen's been traveling. It's a package. And then I go,
I know.
Shit, I need to
She's
send
good
that.
about that. She's excellent about that. Let no one say anything. Andreen sends us a care package. So the post office don't care about me. They steal my shit. But
Sorry about that. Yeah.
It ain't your fault because I know the post office stole my fucking chocolate.
Okay.
And I got time to talk about it right about now. I'm sorry, Janina.
We do not have time to talk about it. We have been talking and
they
talking.
Stole Andreen's money because they wouldn't take $10 for fucking empty envelope. You pay by weight.
Wait. Okay, so this is it. We're gonna stop this now. I think we're gonna review some.
I didn't get to eat my feelings.
And
that hurts.
We're gonna review LGBT activities of some sort in the future.
Yes. We may even have a guest on who attends them.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sorry, something is happening. I'm not even aware.
That's fine. You don't get to know everything.
That is true. Right. I'm a man. I shouldn't know everything.
Yes, we're gonna surprise you.
Yeah, anyway, we've got lots of surprises.
It's been a lot of fun.
If it ain't money involved between me getting money, I'm not interested. Okay.
We made it all extra long for you, but you know, Realz fans, we want to know. Is Realz off of his rocker with his Serena commentary? Tell us more. What do you think is going on with Serena, and what would you like to see if you could redo Serena's return? What would you have had her do?
I would do the eyebrows.
Stop.
You know what? Just say goodbye. Just say goodbye. Thanks for joining us. It's been great.
Yes. We brought this podcast just for you. It's a 126 podcast. And we thought this summer was hot. But the tennis was not. But apparently that's just going on in tennis. Because we had over 2 fucking hours to talk about shit.
Oh, we need to do 4 more episodes so that we can hit 130 at the US Open. So we're gonna figure out that.
We'll do that. We can do a live
130
show. 130
was not a sexy number. 125 is a sexy number.
Exactly.
But whatever.
We'll know. We'll make it work. It's been lovely. It's been great to chat with you all about tennis again. But you know, the best news about this is the best tournaments are coming up, which is Cincy and the US Open. And then
I'm thinking of the US Open. I just think, God damn, it's gonna be hot. It's just
of course, it's gonna be a mess. But what are we gonna do about it? You know, we don't.
It's true. Our faves will be there. Our faves will try to get there, except Andy Murray, because you know he would just retire.
Oh my God.
We wish Andy the best. Cry for all of us, Andy. And
you see, you just triggered me right there. You know, so I'm just gonna keep my
yes, please keep it shut.
Keep your mouth.
That's a podcast 127.
Andy and Federer are living their best lives, crying and blubbering all over the place and showing all of us what manliness looks like.
Girl, no, baseball did that better. I saw baseball. A man was cuddling another man, and baseball did it. Sorry, tennis can't.
Okay,
all right. It's been lovely.
Anyway,
bye.
Good night, people. And we're recording on a Monday, which is quite unusual, but we did it because apparently Janina was living her best life yesterday.
Take care, all.
Good night, everyone. Don't forget to comment below and subscribe. And for all the new subscribers, thank you very much. And tell all your friends about it. Bye.
Bye.
Are we off the air?
Probably not.
I know.
My ears are sweating from my fucking